Hi guys, it's Carlos, the Ultimate Fitness Trainer once again. Thank you so much for watching the video. And today, once again, we're doing a video in order to help us become greater versions of ourselves. As you can see, doing power walk in this beautiful nature, 432 gigahertz for the guys that know. It's beautiful nature in order to help us, not just physically but mentally as well. It's great. We all have to improve our mental health. Now anyway, talking about mental health, I've had a lot of requests about talking about our Carlos, can you give us some tips in order to help your mental health, in order to help anxiety, in order to help depression, how to overcome it. I've had a lot of questions about that, so I'm going to dive deep into that and I'm going to give you 5 tips in order to overcome depression and anxiety. Okay, this stuff has been scientifically proven in order to help overcome obviously those sort of symptoms and also as well feelings, which is horrible. Okay, for the guys that are probably either gone through it or are obviously with those sort of problems, or maybe even with people that know someone that's suffering quite badly. I mean, this sort of stuff I'm going to tell you will definitely, in the long term, because it's something that it's a long-term thing, it's not something that you do and all of a sudden it goes away straight away. It does take probably a while, sometimes years, to overcome. The reason why I'm telling you is because I went through it a long time ago, and I can tell you it's not nice, and I kind of wish that on my worst enemy. So I can tell you it's horrible. Okay, anxiety, depression is pretty hard. Okay, anyway, so I'm gonna give you some tips in order to help you. So start with number 1, which is make sure you get rid of the toxicity. And then toxic is being around people that are toxic can really harm your mental health. Now what I mean by that, they can come in a form of friends, it can come in a form of colleagues, it can come in a form of even sometimes family members. And this is one of the things sometimes we might think, oh my god, I haven't got no toxic around me, but when you start looking into detail, there's a lot of people perhaps out there that kind of like hasn't got the best interests on you, and basically sometimes push you down, sometimes probably under sort of like undermine you all the time. Maybe they may obviously plant little bomb seeds in your mind and kind of make you feel a little bit down about yourself and doubt yourself. These people are not good to you, and sometimes it's good always to have someone around you that kind of like gives you advice as well. It doesn't have to always be positive, but as long as someone's got the best interests for you and is genuine, that's what you need. But a lot of the times, like I did, I had at one point in my life, I had a lot of negative people around me. For the guys that know me, I'm a very positive guy and I'm very driven. However, it happens to everyone. We all have obviously shit around us, okay? I'm no different to anybody. So obviously the first thing I'll tell you is to get rid of toxic people around you, okay? And that sometimes in itself is a hell of a task, okay? That will definitely help you. Secondly, make sure, and this is one main obviously vital component, we start exercising. Starting exercising is not only good for the body, it's good for the mind too. Now you might think, oh yeah, but exercise not only is going to release amazing hormones around your brain, around your body, but remember, our bodies are our subconscious mind, which is our unconscious mind. So remember, if you exercise the body, you're going to exercise the mind as well, and your mind is going to start thinking clear, okay? And so all that tension, all that adrenaline that gets released when you are anxious is going to be burnt out. And not only that, you're going to start feeling a lot more calm, and that's really going to kind of switch off your reptilian brain. For the guys that are a little bit more scientific, check it out, our reptilian brain, because we've got 2 brains in our skull. Okay, number 3, which is check your diet. A lot of the diets we have, and we wonder why we've got anxiety, is packed up of drugs. Yes, you heard it, drugs. Everyone out there, including even myself, when we go to the supermarket, even if we eat as clean as possible, there is drugs in those foods. And then that goes for show that more and more, the more years go by, there's more and more mental health problems. Why? Because obviously stress in food is a massive thing, okay? So the foods that we eat in a lot of the times out there are packed up with really bad ingredients, and on top of that, hormones that really affect the animals that we eat in. So a lot of the stuff that we eat, remember, like chickens, beef, pork, all sorts of meat, even fish, okay, have been pumped up with drugs. So what do you think is going to happen to the animals? And if you consume those animals, what do you think is going to happen to you? So the anxiety comes from there as well. So what I'm going to say to you, I'm not saying for you to go completely vegan, but try to have a more plant-based food. And I know it can be quite hard. I know, I've been there, and I can tell you that it can be quite sometimes sort of a big task to organize your life around trying to eat clean. I understand that, but I can tell you, I can guarantee you as well, that once you do that, you'll feel a lot better. That your anxiety comes down, your depression goes away slightly, and all of a sudden you'll beat it. Okay. Now, number 4 is, remember, and this is another vital component, is meditation. Now, I know some of you guys out there, probably for the guys that never read about it or think that meditation is just for crazy people, and think that meditation is about sitting in a lotus position and kind of like do crazy sort of noises out there. No, it's not. Meditation comes in a lot of different forms. I mean, what I'm doing right now for me is meditation because 1, I'm walking, so I'm exercising my body. 2, I'm in nature, which is I love. And 3, I'm doing something to help people. So for me, that is part of my meditation. Okay, it may sound silly. Meditation comes in the form of something you love to do, something when you are at peace. For some of you guys might go, I don't know, might go for a run. Some of you guys can be like do some paintings. For some of you guys might be sitting down in your garden with a beer or something, like whatever it is. Make sure you exercise that muscle, because the more you exercise that muscle, the more you are going to become a better version of yourself, and ultimately you're going to switch off that reptilian brain. So what I'm going to say to you guys, I'm going to give you a little bit more detail. What happens is this: when you start having an appropriate anxiety, because by the way, we all have anxiety, no matter what planet you come from, no matter where you come from, no matter what background you have, we all have anxiety. Why do we have anxiety? Anxiety was born as part of our brain to tell us whether we have to flight or we have to fight. Okay, back thousands of years ago, we needed anxiety because remember, if a tiger came to fight, we needed to decide to protect our family, or we're going to fight this tiger, or we're going to run away with my family. So it's very important for us to have anxiety. However, in today's age, really, we don't really need anxiety that much, because there's no tigers after you unless you work in some sort of zoo, or you are there in some sort of dangerous situations. 9 times out of 10 we don't need that. But however, because of this stressful life we live and crazy food we consume, and loads of different sort of drugs we take, our brain becomes really rescientized. So there's a part of the brain called the amygdala, and the amygdala is basically, it looks like an appendix, if you like. If anyone's seen appendix, like it's like a form sort of a appendix looking like organ, and I mean, right in the middle of our brain, and when that gets rescientized, it's like a paper cut. Honestly, anything can trigger it. Okay, it could be the fact that you've been tremendously under stress at work, it could be grieving, it could be the fact that I don't know, it could be anything, a loss of someone, whatever it is, it could be stress of not wanting to do the things you really don't want to do, whatever it is, okay? And once you start having an appropriate anxiety, it can really rule your life. Some people can come out of the house, some people then start having fears, okay? And then this goes on and on and on and on and on. So the brain, what we need to do to our brain, we need to calm the brain down, okay? We need to actually embrace the anxiety, and this is part of the sort of recover period. We need to tell the anxiety it's fine to have anxiety. Don't fight anxiety, because anxiety is like a little kid. What I mean by that is, anxiety is always tickling you. Here I am, don't forget I'm here. And all of a sudden, if you react to it, if you become, say, scared about it, you will always rule. So one of the biggest things that I've helped a lot of people overcome anxiety is embrace it. I know it's there. Feelings come to you, start sweating, heart palpitations, your legs may start going, You might have an even blurred vision. Some people feel as if they're going to pass out, which can be masked by loads of different illnesses. Because if you go to your doctor, some people say, oh, my doctor said I've got vertigo, or I might have some sort of tumor in my brain, or I might have some sort of cancer. You haven't got none of that, okay? What you've got is, you've got anxiety. So anxiety, it basically conducts a lot of different feelings in the body. Because remember, when you want to fight or flight, your body doesn't want anything in the body. It doesn't want excess urine. It doesn't want excess feces. He wants to empty everything. Because a lot of times when people got anxiety, you feel as if you're going to poo yourself or want to wee yourself. You're going to wee. Do you know? So it's so many sensations at the same time that, excuse my language, you will shit yourself. Honestly, you feel as if you're gonna literally, I don't know, something's gonna happen really badly. But if you embrace it, if you go, right, okay, you know what? Let me embrace these feelings, okay? Let me embrace it. And if it's gonna kill me, let me kill me like right now. So once you embrace it, you'll see, all of a sudden you think, right, I'm not scared anymore. And you'll see that anxiety won't go away straight away, but it'll start being melted down. I call the term melting down because it does take a while, okay? And then that's the process of beating anxiety. And don't take me wrong, it can take 6 months, it can take a year, it can take 2 years, it can take 3 years, it can take 4 years, okay? Now, it's not a process where you click a button and it goes away, okay? So there's a lot of different things, okay? So that's just a little bit about that step. And then number 5 is make sure you fall in love with something. And this may seem like weird. What do you mean fall in love with something? When you've got a lot of anxiety, okay, and you've got an appropriate anxiety in depression, what happens is your brain, for some reason, and this is more than scientifically proved, your brain became bored, okay? Now, don't go and tell your GP this, because they're not qualified in this field to tell you. More than likely, they'll give you some sort of pills, okay? That's what they're qualified for. No disrespect to any GP, but they're not qualified in the mental health area. So, your brain became bored. Okay, what I mean by bored is your brain, especially if you got a lot of intellect. Some people are more intellect than others, okay? And that doesn't mean you need to be a brain box. What it is, some people's got tremendous amount of intellect. So your brain needs feeding something, okay? What I mean by that is, you need to feed your brain with something you are passionate about, okay? It can be anything. It could be painting. It could be video like I'm doing it right now. It could be, I don't know, photography. It could be something that you're dancing. It could be anything that you're passionate about. Okay, now why am I saying this to you is, if you got an appropriate anxiety is, let me tell you, for the guys that have got an appropriate anxiety, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about, is you don't go 1 second without thinking or feeling anxious. So it's horrible. It can take literally, it can take over your life. So the reason why I'm telling you this is, once you start understanding the importance of loving something, is when you love something so much, when you're constantly thinking about it, what happens? You don't think about the other thing, because you can't think about 3 or 4 things at once. Can you? Can you think about 4 things at once? Try to do that exercise. You can't. You can think many thoughts consecutively, but the thought of thinking one thing at a time, it can only be basically done once at a time, okay? Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this: once you become in love with something you love, okay, something you are passionate about, like it could be a loved one, it could be, but obviously try to think about something, or try to fall in love with something that it might be a next sort of passion you had, in terms of, like, say, I don't know, a lot of people, sometimes when I coach people, say, oh, I love paintings, I used to paint when I was 19 or 20 when I was at uni, and now I stopped doing it because I got a family. All of a sudden they find the new discovery for something, and you may say, Carlos, what's that to do with depression? What's that to do with anxiety? It's to do with, because remember, once you got anxiety and depression, is a pattern thought. Okay, a pattern thought, for the guys that are probably not so much into psychology side, is our brains thinks in pictures. Okay, so because our brains thinks in pictures, what happens is this: once you start having anxiety, an appropriate anxiety, what it creates in your brain is called neuroplasticity. Okay, let me repeat again, it's called neuroplasticity. Google it if you like. So what it is, neuroplasticity is basically your brain, and I understand you might say, oh, my brain's plastic. Your brain is not plastic, but it's called a neuroplasticity. It's because once you create a habit, what your brain does is your brain creates a new pattern thought and creates, imagine like a highway. It creates that neuron, and that neuron creates a path. Okay, once you create that path in your brain, it becomes a habit. Now, if you generate that habit as becoming anxious, your brain knows that path, so we will always travel that path, and it starts firing a lot of energy towards that path, which then it's not really beneficial to you, but the brain loves it because it knows that path again. Now, this, obviously, I'm not just telling you, I've studied this into a highly level. And this is something that a lot of guys that have got anxiety and depression, and when they start understanding this part, they'll go, so why do I delete that path? You cannot delete it. And this is where it gets really, 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 if you're not careful, complicated, okay? But let me simplify it, because I'm not here to overcomplicate anything. If anything, I'm trying to help you, okay? So how do you do it? And the way to create, not to delete, because you can't delete neural pathways, the way to create a different pathway is to create a new one. Okay, now this is where falling in love with something you love is so important, because once you fall in love with that particular thing you like, that passion all of a sudden is gonna be so sort of strong, where you no longer think about the other thing, which is the anxiety itself. And all of a sudden, very slowly, what you'll find is you'll start all of a sudden start moving towards the passion you love, and you start thinking more about that. And once you think more about that every single day, and then from every single day starts every single hour. From every single hour becomes every single minute. All of a sudden, the anxiety evaporated. You will always have anxiety in the background, because we all have anxiety. So let's say, for instance, if I'm doing this video here and I've got a bear there, as an example, and the bear comes after me, I'll have to make a choice. My brain will have to make a choice once I physically, visually see this bear. Do I fight the bear or do I run away from the bear? Okay, so it's good to have anxiety, because if I didn't have anxiety, the bear would actually eat me alive. Okay, so I'll knock the hell out of the bear, one of the two. Okay, maybe the two, maybe the second one. I'm joking. So basically, one of the very important things is obviously understand that, because a lot of people think, oh, I want to get rid of the anxiety completely. No, what you're trying to say is you want to get rid of an appropriate anxiety. Okay, so this is one of the biggest things. So if you understand that, I tell you, you will see all of a sudden, you'll see a massive improvement in your well-being. And I know, like yourself, the guys that have got anxiety and depression, it can be so hard, because the problem with anxiety and depression, not just a problem, but a huge problem, is the lack of wanting to do anything. Okay, so you haven't got the energy. You feel down about yourself. You feel negative, you fear, because it's fear. Fear, remember, the amygdala is a sense of fear. It makes that sensation of fear. You've got loads of fears. It could be the fact that people are going to look at you, or going to mock you, or going to think, oh, you're not good enough. This comes from probably years of perhaps some sort of fears that you had. Some people could have been bullied, or maybe you've had some serious, severe sort of trauma, mental trauma. So this can go on and on and on and on. But anyway, I just wanted to do this video for you guys out there, and obviously see if you can look at those steps I've given you, because I'm not just telling you. I spent many years studying psychology. I graduated as a psychologist as well. I love psychology, so I've studied many years this. I went through it as well, believe it or not, and still is why I studied it. One of the things that I love as well, obviously, is NLP. For the guys that don't know, is neuro-linguistic programming, and that really helped me as well. Now, I don't want to confuse you. Obviously, becoming an NLP coach doesn't make you overcome depression anyway, but it does help you with understanding more about how our brain gets reprogrammed. Now you rewire your brain. This can go on and on and on. And if you guys are interested, I'll do more videos about this particular sort of topic, because it's a topic, believe it or not, it's everywhere. Loads of people. I'm sure you guys that once you watch this video will know probably one or two people that probably either overcome or are going through it, or maybe you out there that has got this problem as well. And one of the things I want to tell you before I go, don't hide. Don't hide, because what happens with this sort of condition, if you like, it's anxieties. A lot of people tend to hide. People have fear of telling anybody, because a lot of people that don't understand think, wow, what's the matter with you? What do you mean anxious? What's anxious? You're a man or mouse? That's what people do. People mock because they don't know. Because I tell you one thing, right? Anyone that says that, I wish you could give them a little experience of about 10 or 15% what it is to have an appropriate anxiety. They would shit themselves, excuse my language, because it's something that you've got it in, we all have it in us. It's like saying someone that has got cancer, stop having cancer, or someone that's just had an heart attack, says, what's the matter with you, wake up. Do you know, it's just pathetic, you know what I mean? But this is people that are sometimes very uneducated, that don't understand it, okay? And this is not, I'm not just disrespecting people, I'm just saying that it's true, because people do not understand it. Believe it or not, even medical staff have actually had a debate with people that, in fact, even doctors, okay, don't understand this. It's something that is crazy. This is why a lot of times when you go to your GP, let me tell you, a lot of times you come back out very quickly because they don't know, and they might send you to some sort of go and see a psychiatrist. And the problem is, once you start seeing a psychiatrist, you start giving you crazy drugs. God help you, because all sorts of chemicals can have crazy reactions, and everyone's different. Literally, people can be called psychotic episodes, all sorts of things that you can have. I'm telling you, literally, that's a different level. And I'm not here to advise you on whatever things you're not supposed to do. I'm just here to give you some sort of advice on my journey, what I've had, and what I've done. But I can tell you, I'm not just telling you, I've studied this as well. So this is scientifically proved that obviously it really works. And don't take me wrong, I'm not putting the time on it. I'm not telling you it's going to be 3 months, 6 months, a year. It may take years to overcome it. Mine took a few years, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. It didn't all of a sudden gone. But those steps I've given you, and some more. I don't want to bore you as well with so many different things. Those steps I've given you, seriously, really going to help you. But anyway, check us out on YouTube, which is Carlos Trainer. Thank you very much. It's basically about helping others. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. But also check us out on our Instagram, which is Carlos Trainer 10. We've got loads of videos about psychology, training, diet, supplementation, coaching, like motivation ones as well, like some detail as well, like today. And thank you very much. And don't forget, if you guys like coaching or personal training, please contact us on 07761274313. Also on our email, which is carlostrainer10 at yahoo.co.uk. And with all that being said, guys, doing, as I said earlier, meditation here in the park, 1 hour cardio, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and also doing a video for you guys in order to help us become greater versions of ourselves. So with all that said, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay fit, have a beautiful day. Take care. Get fitter, get healthier, get happier, become your greatest version. In ourselves, have the motivation every day in order to help you become a greater version of ourselves. Stay happy. Remember, while you're becoming your greatest versions, don't forget, have fun as well, because a lot of times you can be very serious as well. So have fun, like I always do, although doing these videos, and it gets really serious sometimes about coaching, training, psychology, problems, everything. It's always sometimes to become a kid as well and just enjoy and laugh. Believing in you is the most important, vital component in order to become a greater version of yourself. So regardless of what others think of you, always believe you can do it. You came here in order to live your best life, so express yourself. Take care. Of development for ourselves is to believe in ourselves and believe in your intuition in order to become better every day, in order to ask your own self, am I doing the best I can in order to become a better version of me? The main thing in life is to have vision, no excuses, and follow your heart, and ultimately become a greater version of yourself. Believe in yourself, that's all it is. Believe in yourself and do not allow external events to dictate your present situation. Two things of which I think is really important in order to become better version of yourself is gratitude and discipline.